the first point here is that South Africa will not be allowed to compete in ICC tournaments, isn't it? But what about the players individually?
Well, if obviously the Section 13(5) goes through, if it gets gazetted, in other words, they do legally de-recognise Cricket South Africa, which we've been told it would have been gazetted by Friday, unless, of course, there's been intervention from Cricket South Africa's side, and then the minister is then happy about that, obviously. That's the whole thing. If this had been legal and Cricket South Africa was now no longer recognised, no longer funded as well, by the way, by the government, it would mean they get no funds either, which is obviously an issue with Cricket South Africa, because currently funding is tough. And it would also mean they probably lose all their sponsors too. So going forward, it's almost impossible to do anything as a board. And then it would be up to the ICC as to what they would then do, because would they construe this as government interference? Because the ICC does not allow for government interference. Now, I know Nathi Mthethwa, our sports minister, has been constantly in contact with the ICC. Any move he's been making, he's been talking to them and letting them know why he's doing this, what he's doing, and he's kept a good communication up with them. We obviously don't know for a fact that the ICC would then ban South Africa from competing. That would obviously be something that they would need to discuss, and they'd have to say whether or not this is real government interference, because as the ICC has previously said, not all government action is government interference and warrants a ban. So we would have had to obviously wait from that point of view, and it's highly likely that it would mean a ban by the ICC. We don't know for sure, but it's highly likely, which means no competing in the men's T20 World Cup at the end of the year, no competing possibly in the women's 50-over World Cup next year, which is obviously, it's not far away, even though people might say, I'm sure they'll get a resolution by then, but if the ban was in place, you don't know how long you are actually banned for. So that's the concerns, obviously. And from the players' point of view, it means losing contracts with Cricket South Africa, obviously losing salaries. That would be an issue for a lot of players, in particular for the women, because it's very difficult for them to make ends meet when they're not getting the contracts that they have from Cricket South Africa. So mean very tough situations for the players, very, very stressful. I'm sure I can only imagine the stress that they must have gone through over the last few months when they're trying to also display their best on the field. So with everything going on behind the scenes, for them to put their best foot forward on the field in the last few months, it's a phenomenal effort, because there would have been so much pressure on them to perform because the spotlight is on them at the time. And they did it. The women's team did it amazingly well. They were absolutely brilliant. So for them to come through this like that is incredible. But a ban for South Africa would be absolutely dire from the players' point of view.